entered preservation in the late 1950s by the late Jim Larkin, bought in the mid-70s by a wonderful famous guy called Frank Lithgow, and I believe it says it's still under his ownership. Do you know what about that?
I understand the engine is still in his ownership, but I believe there was another man that you missed, Mr. Dakin, Jim Dakin from Goose Street. The engine's a compound engine, twin cylinders, one cylinder, high pressure steam, exhausted into the second cylinder, low pressure steam. This is to soften the exhaust, also to create an engine.
South Normanton, his yard's in Sherland on the main road from Alfred, and if you see it there, and he likes his Canadian engines. This is a George White. Well, George White were based in London, Ontario, I believe, and he actually was born in North Devon, I think, if I'm being honest with you. But this one, you notice the big spark arrestor on the top, because in Canada and America, a lot of grain, a lot of planes, a lot of wood, a lot of dry, and you saw all the American railway engines with the spark arrestor on the top. Well, they still had that for quite a while, and Tony brought this one back. This one was built around about 1916, 1917, but always a little bit different, the American engines. Just look at the back, look at the footplate. Dave's had this engine for, right now, lad, how long has he had this? About 19 owned by a wonderful guy I've known for a long time. That's my mate, Mr. David Lomas, or as they call him up there, the Lumases. Now, David's worked on this for many, many years. It was built in 1924. And even in Porter, they made down at Rochester Street, Kent, but this one was new to New Mills Council, and it's wonderful that it's still stayed in New Mills. It's been there, it knows its country. I would reckon it'll go around New Cromford, and it's just to say, let you know we're here. So, when you're ready, Mr. Pearson, are you ready? Are we all there? What's the point, are you all there? No, he's never all there. Are you ready then? After you. 1, 2, 3, come on! You've not got this lot trained very well, my kettle's louder than that. Again, let's try it again. 2, 3. On the soul bench, and I know this guy, he's a real character. He's one of the great guys of the show world. Well, Mr. Colin Brothwell, and I said to him, I think you must agree he's one of the best courageous team we've had for many a while, and certainly worth the effort. Thanks to each and every one of us who was seen to travel the effort we've put in. Thank you very much. Grant? His wife says it takes him a long time to get there, but it didn't end. I think you must agree with me.
A pair of medical hazards quite a long time ago. Copy that. So, a pair of spectacles here in the commentary box, lost property. Please just check your pockets, handbags, etc. We have a pair of spectacles, not really clear whether they're gents or ladies, but I suspect they're gentlemen's spectacles.
gentlemen, we just keep ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the steam parade when they're moving out of the arena, the last three children.
A dog like that. Yeah. Just what it used to do that. It's noise.
Wow.
They wanted this Spitfire, didn't they? That came out for trial. But out of the similar table came this one, the Sunbeam Alpine. 4-cylinder engine. If you wanted a bit more, you could get the Tiger, which was a beast of a machine. 6-cylinder engine in. I don't know why ever you got your fingers in there, because there were no room round them at all. But oh, they're a lovely looking car. I remember a fellow mine having one of these, the Sunbeam Alpine. Very nice, you man. Very nice. Yeah, we're going back to the pram back era, as I call it. And you can always tell the eras we're talking about. Very early 1930s, 35, 36, a little bit later, to Morris 8. Wood framed and panelled. This one's a stunner. Recent respray. 5 years ago. Any other work apart from respray? Completely legal. What year is it? 36. Well, when the Standard Vanguard was dropped, Standard Triumph merged. This was the Triumph 2000. This was the Mark 1 estate. Very rare vehicle. You don't see many estates about. Saloons are around, but you don't see many estates. To me, this was the nicest one they ever did. I think when they started to go to the later 2000s, that the Stag was designed on, they're just too bland, they're just too smooth. No one's a character about them, but these, the Roots Group built a factory, purpose-built at Paisley, just to the side of Glasgow, to build the human red at the back. So I know this is very late 20s, very late 30s, 1929. So when this car was built, Henry Royce was still alive. Current stock, 1800 twin car engine, the same engine that was in the Morris Marina Coupe, if I remember rightly. But this is a very, very unusual colour. Is it an original colour? But is it an original MGB colour? Is it? Very, very nice. Very rare to see them in this colour. You could get different grills in the front, 3 or 4 different styles of grill, but these are the, to me, the best working man sports car ever built. And if you want to upset some of these, man called Donald Healy. Donald Healy has been producing cars on his own for quite a while. And he said, let's have a look at the stock you've got. So we did the Austin. Don't see this one, right? And he was cool. You can also get it in black if you want to, but this was the Triumph Mayflower. Nicknamed the Razor Edge, you can see white, but it's all shaped, straight lines. And it had a big brother, quite a bit bigger, and that was the Triumph we're now. Beautiful little motor car. It lives in Mansfield most of the time. Occasionally gets out of the Derbyshire into civilization. But thank you very much. What a beauty. The Triumph Mayflower. Goes even better when the handbrake's off. Well, there was a company up in Bradford, owned by the Jowett brothers. Believe it or not, there's still is Jowett. And they started to build motor cars. They were very, very futuristic. They bought little vans out with the Jowett Bradford van and pickup. The Jupiter, which is a sports car, and this was the Javelin. Totally different to anything else that had ever been built. Jowett were wonderful. They were a little bit expensive in the time, and they didn't make the numbers that people like before. But one of the biggest problems that some Jowett, they get the cars out. We'll start with the roller. Where are we going out now? Are we going out to Pier? Up in the top corner we're going out, folks. So if you can make your way out with the cars, we'll have the commercials in just a few minutes.
Call for Ken and the team at the barriers there, Moira there, 13th and 14th of August next weekend at the Moira Steam Fair. Moira was a very, very famous steam fair. It folded a few years ago, but now I've been resurrected for a couple of years, and I'm told a wonderful setting and a wonderful show. So that's one for your diary, ladies and gentlemen, 13th and 14th of August next weekend. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as we move the cars out, we will be waiting for the commercials and militaries to come in. And once again, and the gun dogs have raised us £117, which is wonderful. The JCB there with the bucket is there for you to throw your spare coins in. And as David would tell you, you never know when you might need it. And I don't suppose he thought that day that he would finish up in the ambulance, so you never know when you might need it, ladies and gentlemen. Just having advert the show.
What a lovely little lorry it is. It's the nut between the seat and the wheel that's the problem. Bless you, pal. Very nice little lorry. I have recently got into Bedfords, and the little Bedford was the biggest manufacturer of commercial vehicles in this country for many, many years. And this is the M-type. The O-type started to come in the late 90s. BMC, or Morris in that time, didn't really get into commercials in the heavyweight region. They built lots of small ones. This is the forerunner before the FK. This goes quite a way back. But what a lovely lorry it is. And before anybody asks, lovely old vehicles with the independent wings. It's a Comma. Comma was a brief abbreviation for commercial motors, to be honest with you. 4-cylinder or 6. 4-cylinder petrol engine in the original livery of Lyons Tea, and you notice at that time in the early 1938. So this is an ex-military vehicle that's been brought back and put into civilian use. The Warrior, I like that. Why is it called the Warrior? Yeah.
I've got a friend who was in the police force down in the West Midlands, and they had a sergeant who had a very distinguished military career, and they nicknamed him the Warrior, and he got that.
And this lovely thing turned up. Going back to about 86, ERF, the E16. These were mainstays, known as the Associated Equipment Company. And this is an AEC Marshall. The six-wheeler civilian vehicle was always the Marshall. This is a Mark II ergo cab, and the Mark 1, I think we've got a Mark 1 here today, so I'll not say too much about it. I went down into Wales some years ago, photographing lorries, and this thing was stood with tractors on it, with a beaver tail body. Never thought any more about it. And then I was doing a slideshow some years later, and Paul said, "Can I have a look at that slide again?" I showed him and saw the number plate. We had a St. Lorry Million square coach. This is an LAD cab Dodge with a Leyland 350 engine in it. They put AECs in them, and they put, can you hear that whistle? That's the typical whistle from a Leyland 350. This was bought in very, very poor condition, and has been restored over a number of years now by Nigel, the lad that's driving it, in the lovely colours of Matlock Transport. Very, very nice. You could get with the Perkins engine in, and you can always tell the Perkins engine ones at a glance because they've got an extra grille on the front panel. This is another one of Nigel's, and these were not all that successful. You can see the badge on the front with the 4 circles. And that was meant to be a square deal all round. That was Perkins Diesel's side. This is a Dodge with the Perkins V8 in it. Very powerful, very fast, very noisy, and very rusty. They rusted like crazy. In the period in the late 70s and 80s, we had a fad for building square coach, known as the LAD cab, because the very similar cab is used by Leyland, Albion, and Dodge. Very similar cab there. And this particular lorry worked on contract. Now, this young man's trying to fool me. He's took the number plate off, so I don't know what it is. It's Melvin Tong with a 300E. Now, when you remember when we did the cars, I told you about the Ford Anglia with the 3 bars. This is the commercial version with the same grille that the Ford Popular had in it. 100,000cc, made in the thousands. They were a smashing little car and a lovely little van. Thanks, Melvin. What are you doing here for a number plate? Sitting on my knee. Not mine, officer. This particular lorry brings a lot of memories back for me, because the young man who's driving it, his dad, used to drive these for a company at Alfred called Cundy and Stewart. And anybody knows Alfred where the new vet practices. Again, the watch on at Alfred, that's where they were. And then they moved up onto the top where the McDonald's restaurant is up there. And this particular lorry, well, you know when I said in the cars there's always one. Well, there's always 2 in commercials, and he's both of them. This is Mr. Robinson from Chapel Henley Frith. Known better... I know why he's doing that, folks, I'll tell you. Known better to us as Rocky. And this has got an 8-cylinder garden in it. And he's doing it so you can see how much of the engine's sticking out the back of the cab. This is an S40 series Foden. I say, Mr. Robinson, you've been going backwards for a long time. How you doing, pal? Diesel engine. It's owned by Ivan and Mary Parkin from Cromford, originally new in Scotland, up in Aberdeen area, and moved down to Leicester, where Ivan bought it. And you'll notice most tractor units have got something on the back, because Cummins diesel engine is owned by Ivan and Mary Parkin. I was sad even then. But this is D12, it's owned by a good mate of ours from down in Tansley, restored beautifully to the original livery. And by this time, Longsons were owned by Hansons, but isn't that beautiful? God bless you, young man. You know, I don't know if any of you watch the American programs, but I love these things. Back to about 1951, 52, and Chevrolet in Bedford, very, very similar, because Chevrolet started coming out these bridges, watching all the way to a city fair study. It does look a lot better. It was quite tired when he bought it, but he's done a tremendous amount of work on it. Lovely paint job. Crying out loud. But have you emptied your piggy bank to do this? Have you had to empty the piggy bank? It's beautiful. Very nice. Lovely. Well, you know, yesterday I saw this lovely thing come in, and I think the registration on that is in Wales somewhere. A wall of death. Start adding 2 and 2 together. This is an ERF C-Series. C-Series because it's got a Cummins engine in there. 290 Cummins. And the reason it's got Wall of Death on the top, anybody that's been to Cromford will know the wonderful guy Kenny Fox and the Wall of Death. It was one of his. And it's been purchased in the afternoon robbery. I saw this thing come in. C tells me 1965. And it's an S21 Foden, nicknamed the Mickey Mouse Foden because a lot of folks thought they look like Mickey Mouse to look at. But you have to start looking a little bit deeper. And this has got a Gardner 150 engine in it. There isn't another one. There were only ever 2 built. And this was built by the Clayton DeWanda brake people to test brakes. And it's built on a Leyland Tiger Cub bus chassis. You can see the engine underneath as it would have been in a bus with a coach-built cab. The other one was scrapped, and this one resurrected, and it turned up in Burton-on-Trent some years ago. Love to see it because it's an individual. There isn't another one, and it did have a name on it. It was called the Rare One. I don't know if it still is. It got beautiful, lovely. One of the crying shames about the British commercial vehicle industry was this thing. We ruled the world with our lorries in the 40s and 50s. Bedford were the biggest manufacturer of military vehicles and civilian vehicles in the country, and they designed this, a Bedford TK, in the late 1950s, early 60s. But they made one massive mistake. It's an absolutely beautiful lorry. They're going for a lot of money. Trying to find these is very, very difficult. They didn't make it with the time for trailer work, but the novelty about this thing is what's on the back of it. We always like, with flats, to have something on the back to stop them bouncing around. And that engine on the back is Foden's own 2-stroke diesel, and it runs. And the Foden 2-stroke was a flying machine, and they didn't last all that long. They went away from them, but isn't that beautiful? What a lovely motor. Thank you very much, young man. A Mickey Mouse Foden, the S21. Now this particular vehicle, believe it or not, is its first time out. It's new one to the rally scene. It's absolutely beautiful. To get an LED cab these days is very, very difficult. We've raided all of Malta and got nearly all of them out of there. But the paintwork and everything on this is a credit to you, young man. I don't know how long it's taken you to do it. Oh, I know. I've just found the bandit. Well, what can we say about American lorries? Typical American, aren't they? Big and brash. and fabulous. This is at Kenworth. In America, the rules of the road are totally different to over here. Broke away from Foden in the 1930s. And at the time, ERF had its own body shop. Well, the works next door, which was called Jennings Motor Panels. And they made all the wooden cabs and all the fiberglass cabs. But when they wanted to skived out for a smoke break. Now, an unusual vehicle. Scammell, Highwayman, D tells me 1966. And we're going back to a time before we had hydraulic cranes. And the reason for that, I'm telling you that, is because if you look at the saw it in May of this year, and this was the, I'm going to say it was the first tilt cab in the country, but I will say it's the first mass-produced tilt cab in the country. Bolton's had played about with it for a while, but this is the AEC maker. 505, Absent Gardner engines, but this is a Leyland 680. It's owned by George Strutt from Darnydale. Not fast, 30 mile an hour flat out, very low gear, very, very strong. These were what the winds and people like that would be using. They were a wonderful, wonderful piece of kit. Thank you very much, George. Good of you. Now I have got to be careful. The Waltons are invaded. Mr. and Mrs. Walton from Horsley Wood House. VO tells me that that is not in the chip. This was a cement mixer, believe it or not, for Trent Gravels in Nottingham. Laurie, I really do appreciate what you're doing, Paul. It's a great, great, great job. And isn't that lovely? Look at the original metal body work on it. The tipper, he's stacked the cracking motor there. This is a Thornycroft Swiftshaw. Thornycroft were built down there at Basingstoke in Hampshire many years ago. And this was one of their very futuristic. I've been a kind of a Ford fan for quite a long time. And one of the things that Ford did well was the Ford Transit, because every man and his dog has tried to come up with something as good since. Bedford with the CF, and you've got Mercedes, and you've got everybody trying to copy it. The Mark I Transit, now this is going back to about 1968 with an F on it. I can tell with the sound of it, it's got a Perkins comma in the arena earlier, but this is very much later, coming up to 1965. And the majority of these cabs had the TS3 two-stroke engine in them, which was a Tillin Stevens. But this one, and if you look, you tell them the sound of it. Here you are, look, it's there. And if you look in there, there's a screw wind, and that's when you had to wind it to tip it up. No hydraulics back in those. Are they still queuing up in Matlock? Again, going back onto the American scene, Mack. Well, Mack was the big producer of trucks in America. Mack now very much involved with Renaults. A lot of the Renault engines, that's what pulls behind it. Isn't that beautiful, eh? I think all the kids love to see these things. But a bit of a beast on the road over here, especially if you're going up from Cromford up via Jellier. You'd know it, you'd go one of these, wouldn't you? God bless you, young man. Just go and have a look at it when it's parked up tonight with all the lights on. God bless you, just listen to that. Beautiful. You notice how many of these people are collecting for private charity. My memories go back a long, long way with this particular vehicle. KRR is not in again by Midland General. But if you notice, the colours on this are the reverse of that. And it was common practice, even Trent did the same. On a service bus, they would be predominantly blue with white flashings. On a coach for holidays and things, they would be the opposite way around. So this originally was a coach, but then went into service. It's owned by Lim Pestle from Ilkeston. It's got a Gardner 5-cylinder actually, 6. It's been down to Eastern Coach Works in Lowestoft, they did all the bodies for. I had quite a lot of dealings with forklifts. And one company that I got to know very well was a company from Basingstoke in Hampshire, the Lansing Bagnall Company, probably known these days as part of the Lansing Lindy Group. And they made electric trucks, gas trucks and little petrol trucks. And this was in the days before forklifts were common, and they used to run around stations, airports, military bases, pulling loads and loads of little trailers down with loads of things on. They're a fabulous little piece of kit, really are very, very much underestimated. And I've got to be honest, I don't know where to get a utility vehicle, four-wheel drive, and they couldn't make enough of them. They made that many, and they couldn't keep the American forces going. It was petrol. They got that much of it, they were swilling about in it. So they made big engines, enormous V8s and everything. Is that a V8, you know? Is it? With that JCB over there. I recently, well, a few years back, restored a 1929 Caterpillar 60. This is a Caterpillar D7 from around 1942-43. Finding military history on vehicles is very, very difficult because the military won't damn well tell you, you can't research. But you notice the difference. It's got a powered winch on the back. Now, I don't know if it's a Letourneau. Is it a Letourneau hinge on it? Caterpillar used Letourneau, which are a French company, to build the winches. And if you notice, the blade is lifted and lowered by this hose. This sounds absolutely beautiful. Just listen to that. Oh. How we doing? Crikey. Is this Dad's Army's afternoon out? Crying out loud. USA. Now, you look like Donald Trump on manoeuvres. A Willis Jeep. How long you had it?
2 or 3 years.
You have a lot of fun with this, don't you? Only one thing wrong with it. Not much room to put the beer. You need to get a trailer. Oh, Brandale country. My big mate Brandale. It's a welly though, isn't it? Well, get out. Now. At the end of the Second World War, there was a flood, a mass of vehicles surplus. The British lorry industry suffered badly because people weren't buying new, they were buying second. You know, folks, I never fail to be amazed by these guys. Alvis was a British saloon car manufacturer of very high quality, and they were suffering a bit on sales and decided to get into military vehicles, and they came out to come to a rally. Daimler were into military vehicles, and they came along with a superb little vehicle. This is a Daimler Ferret, powered by a Rolls-Royce petrol engine, and these were made for the military in the thousands. FNN. You cannot take a great deal of notice of registration on military vehicles because when they came out to service, they stripped them of the original army numbers. And this is basically one of the Renault 4x4s. All right, young man. Was it a British Services vehicle?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, it was held in storage for quite a long time now. It was Perkins Phaser.
So you can see, very, very rugged truck. Very high suspension for gun tractors. You'll see a lot of these pulling guns. They would be ammunition carriers. They do anything. Typical Weatherby does all the water pipes and the plumbing for us. And believe it or not, this has only been restored a couple of years. But when he restored it into working condition as it would be. You didn't get shiny, polished lorries because of the sun flashing off them and telling everybody where you were. But look at him. Who'd want to find him anyway? Go on, Mr. Ludlam, get out. Your mate, you're not feeding him very well. Eh? His legs have gone. What, dummy and all? Now, this Perkins diesel engine in this is a Humber. Humber were first started building motor cars in the very early 1900s in Nottingham. Eventually ended up 3.5 ton. It's a heavy brute. It's a beautiful thing though, God bless you. Now again, I know this young man very well. It's come all the way down overnight from Ashbourne. A Willis again, another Willis Jeep. Yeah, how long have you had this? 36 years, and I've known this young man for a long time, and he's had that Willis Jeep all the time. They're absolutely beautiful. Love them. Simple. An old friend of mine had one when we were younger, and we had more fun in that than anything. Now you saw the Daimler Ferret. This is his little brother, sorry, his bigger brother. This is the... Yeah, how long you had that, Malcolm? How long? Yeah. About 25 years. He'll soon have it finished. Beautiful, wonderful people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, 2 or 3 years ago, I was privileged to come across 3 wonderful guys. They come from Stockport, and they've got 3 fire engines. Not old ones, recently retired. A Dennis Sabre, a Scania, and a Shelby.